Hi, I hope you are well. This podcast is a place for people to share personal and professional perspectives, talk openly, and ask questions. From serious to silly to sublime, it's all about communication and connection. Always coming from a place of kindness and curiosity, we talk about shared humanity, discuss ideas, and highlight people creating a better world. We've got to keep learning, keep growing, keep being. I'm Melissa Beek, and this is Beek on Being. Today's episode is Beek on Being and Regression. When I was young, I was fascinated by a movie called On a Clear Day You Can See Forever. In 1988, I was blown away by Dr. Brian Weiss's book, Many Lives, Many Masters. They resonated with me because both dealt with gaining insight from past life experiences, intuitive knowledge. In studio today, to give us greater insight and understanding about regression, is licensed clinical social worker, clinical hypnotherapist, and associate professor at Barry University. She does it all. Dr. Jennifer Williams.
Yay,
Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm
It's
thrilled to
wonderful
have
be
you here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited to get into everything. So I want you to tell our listeners a little bit about you and how you got into everything that you do.
Okay, so that's a long.
I love it.
That'll take a little bit, but professionally, I consider myself to be what's called a trauma-focused, neuro-informed psychotherapist.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And what I do with my clients in my clinical practice is I help them to get to the root cause of whatever it is that's bothering them, disturbing them. And so I really am the kind of therapist where you just roll your sleeves up, get in it together, and let's go back and find the origins of what's really bothering
The root.
you. Yeah, the root of that. So I've been a psychotherapist for 28 years.
Nice.
And like you said, I'm associate professor in the School of Social Work at Barry University. And I've been in academia for 23 years.
Nice.
Yeah. So teaching, and I've maintained my private practice the entire time.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. My area of research is in neurobiology
Mm-hmm.
and the mind and body connection. I have written designed curriculum for doctoral students and master's students in neurobiology and the mind and body connection.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So that is my area of interest.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably, let's see, when I first wrote that first course of neuroscience and the mind and body connection was probably about 10, 12 years ago.
Okay.
Way before anybody was talking about any of this. In fact, it was probably around the time where Bessel van der Kolk wrote a book, The Body Keeps the Score.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I had a series at Barry many years ago around that time called A Literary Gathering for Intellectual Diversity, and invited him to come and speak to our students and faculty and our community because it was at the time considered a little out there.
Yeah.
You know, even though he's a medical doctor.
Right. Not sciencey enough for the sciences.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not sure how I veered off on that, but
that you were talking about your passions.
Yeah. So the mind and body connection.
Right.
It's always been connected.
Right.
Started my career doing therapy with children and adolescents. That is how I started. And then I transitioned a little bit into teaching parenting classes, went a little bit into administration, and then I went into academia. So I've always had teaching and the clinical work in the professional realm.
I love it. I love it.
And then there's this other personal side that probably guided a lot of my work.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to expand upon that, or?
I can.
Yeah, sure.
So let me go back and just say what it is that I do professionally. So, I do EMDR.
Mm-hmm. These are the modalities.
That I use. Clinical hypnosis, mindfulness-based approaches.
Right.
And I specialize in anxiety and depression. And I really have always done that.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I've always been interested in outside the box modalities.
Right.
All of those modalities that, you know, in my world are considered not evidence-based.
Right.
Woo-woo out
Right.
there,
Yeah,
right?
I got you.
Yeah. So early in my career, I started to have some physical symptoms. I
Mm-hmm.
started to have my heart racing.
Right.
I now know what it is. It
Right.
was burnout.
Mm-hmm.
But it was progressing so significantly that I was actually, there were a couple of times where I actually lost consciousness and passed out.
Wow.
Went to every doctor. Everyone said, "You're young. There's nothing wrong with you.
Right.
You know, good luck with that. Go see a therapist."
Right.
And I'm like, I'm a therapist.
I'm a therapist. I know what to do already.
I don't need help. Yes, I know what to do.
Don't need help.
Yeah. But I did. I went to
Uh-huh.
a traditional therapist and worked through that. And still some of these symptoms were not going away. And I had a colleague, a professor,
Uh-huh.
who also I loved because she was very much outside the box.
I like that.
She came up to me one day and she said, "Hey, Jennifer, I know you're dealing with a lot of stuff. I think you should go and try astrology and just, you know, dabble in that a little bit. It might help give you some better understanding of yourself. And, you know, by the way, there's this thing called energy healing. Maybe you should go and try
Try
that out as well."
Right.
So this started for me sort of opening up a little bit to other alternative ways of healing.
Of healing. Yeah.
I went in and I never turned around.
Right.
Like that was it. I immersed myself in everything. I learned about energy healing, which by the way helped me.
Yeah.
And I stopped having all of those
Right.
symptoms, right? I learned meditation.
Mm-hmm.
I learned
Breath work.
I did professional trainings on them. I learned how to, you know, integrate that into my own life. And all of a sudden, everything started to get better. So I was going down that path. And as you go down that path, you want to learn more. You want to hear more about those things. And around that time, there was a book Brian Weiss had published. I think it was around 2004. And I think it was called Same Souls, Many Bodies. I think that
something
was
like
what
that.
it is.
Yeah.
Something like that. And we were going on a trip and out west, and I just bought the book and I read the book the entire way out there. And I said, I've got to learn more about this.
Exactly.
And I looked it up, and just so happened that like that next month he was going to be at the Miami Book Fair. And so my husband and I went and waited in line and talked to him. And I said, he was so kind. There were like hundreds of people in line.
Yeah.
And I said, "Dr. Weiss, this book was just transformative for me. It changed my life. I love this so much. I'm a therapist. I would love to learn how to do this. Can I, you know, do you do these trainings?" And he said, "Yes, I do. Come out here, do this." Anyway, that next year, I went out and I did a week-long training with him and his wife.
Incredible. And
learned how to do past life regression as a therapist and how to integrate all of that.
So it's an incredible modality to use for therapeutic purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about regression. Can we define what regression is and then also define maybe what past life regression is?
Sure.
Okay.
So quite simply, regression is going back to an earlier time, right? And going back to an earlier time means experiencing it not just like as if we're back in it again, but any images, any feelings, any sensations that you have, you go back into an earlier time. Past life regression is going back into another time that you were not in this body.
Right.
And I do feel like we probably need another word for it because we can go in between lives.
Right.
Right. We can even go forward.
Right.
And go, back in time. But that's so the difference is, so regression is just going
Backwards.
back
Mm-hmm.
yesterday,
Right.
what you had for breakfast today, back to childhood, back into the womb.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Mm-hmm. And then past life is going back before
Right.
you were in the womb here.
Got it. So just a soul.
Just the soul. So yeah,
Right.
you're
Body's
following
the
the journey
you're
of the
following
soul.
the journey
Yes,
of the soul. Okay,
exactly.
good.
Yeah.
So do clients come in seeking regression therapy, or is it something that you suggest depending on what their issue is that they come in with?
So I never suggest a past life regression
Mm-hmm.
unless I've been working therapeutically with somebody and maybe they feel stuck, or they've explained to me that this is something that is of interest, or they have a question about it, and they feel as if we've really looked at everything,
Run the course of other modalities, and we're still we're not resolving the issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good. Okay, so can you talk us through the process of regression therapy?
Sure. Past life regression therapy,
I want-
regression therapy.
Both.
So it is the same. The first thing is, the most important thing with any modality, and especially with regression, is that a person feels safe and comfortable.
Right.
So every client that I work with, and I didn't mention this, I want to say how important it is that I differentiate myself from a past life regressionist and a past life regression therapist.
Got it.
I am a therapist first.
Mm-hmm.
And so many times people come in with issues that originate from this lifetime.
Right.
Sometimes they are themes that were activated or started in previous times.
Got it.
I am a therapist first.
Right.
So, and I have some personal experience around that and why this is so important, why I take this work so incredibly seriously.
Yeah, it is.
And I'll talk a little bit about that. But that's why when a person comes in to see me, let's say that they're coming in just for a past life regression, and that does happen very often. They'll call and they'll say, I want to have this regression. The first thing is I talk to them over the phone and I share how I work,
right,
and the expectations, because many times they'll read things like Brian
Weiss,
Weiss's books, right,
yeah.
and want to have that vivid experience, and
that doesn't always happen.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it can,
but it's not always a given.
There's so many factors that go into that, and so just sort of give some realistic expectations of what that's going to be. And then the first session in person is, well, it's all in person, but the first session is an assessment.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just making sure that they, sort of meet criteria to be able to, there are certain diagnoses and psychoses that we would not do a regression
on people with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm also, it's a couple of things. I'm getting them to understand the way I talk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm helping them to start to feel safe and comfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm learning more about their story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning about what it is that they're experiencing right now, what their childhood was like, who the players are, who the parents and the friends.
All the factors that go into this.
All of the pieces that go
I think it's important to note that when someone's looking to do this, that they have to go to a professional like you. Like, this isn't just, this is serious, and they need to go to someone who has experienced and trained and knows what they're doing from a therapeutic standpoint.
Now that you say that, that's exactly why I do this work and I take it so seriously.
Yes.
There were, so many years ago, I'm forgetting the time now, but before my daughter was born, my husband had been in a car accident. Oof. And he was okay, but he was referred to a massage therapist who specialized in some other type of work, like craniosacral work.
Mm-hmm.
So he went to her, he called me, and he's like, hey, Jen, I know this massage therapist is really far away, but she was amazing. And she does this thing called craniosacral work, and you have TMJ. I think this is really going to help you. You should come and have a
Right.
session. So I'm like, okay, sure. I mean, I'm vetted by my
Try
husband.
anything, right.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. Up for that. Now, this is after I've already been trained in past life regression.
Mm-hmm.
And let me also say, I'm sort of jumping all over the
No,
place
I love
here.
it. I love it all.
But even through the training, so let me just say this. Even through the trainings, even through trying individually to do a past life
Mm-hmm.
regression with various professionals,
Mm-hmm.
I never was able to regress
Yourself personally.
myself.
Wow.
I was never able to regress. I now have a language for that, and I understand that I never felt safe or comfortable, and I was too
Right.
analytical and too
Right.
anxious, and
Right.
the person didn't really know how to ease that.
Right.
But I didn't, but I could do it for others.
Right.
And it was fine. So that's important to note. So I'm a psychotherapist. I'm trained in regression therapy. I know what happens and how to work through that therapeutically.
Right.
Okay. So I go into the massage therapist, and I think that I'm going to be getting a massage on my jaw. And about 20 to 30 minutes into it, the therapist stops, like, putting her hands on me. Her hands are just above my face. I've done energy healing. So I thought, okay, she's doing some energy healing. And then all of a sudden I started to have this vivid picture in my mind, because I'm relaxed and it's dark. My eyes are closed.
Mm-hmm.
And I only explain it like those old Capital One commercials with the Vikings.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I saw a Viking ship, and it was off of the coast, and I am laying on an island, and the ship is off, and I'm by myself.
Wow.
I'm like, this is very bizarre. She then says to me, are you seeing anything? And I was like, nope. Good. No, I'm really relaxed.
I'm all
Everything's
good.
All's good here.
I'm on a beach somewhere with the Vikings.
I'm literally on a beach. Yeah. And she said, well, I want you to tell me what you're seeing.
Right.
Do you see anything? And
Did you
I said,
tell her?
Eventually.
Yeah.
It took me a minute. And then she said, I see that too. I'm like, really? She said, let's just go with it. So for the next hour or two,
Wow.
here's what happened. All of a sudden, I felt like I was a really, really young girl.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very young.
Mm-hmm.
And I put my hands and rested my hands on my belly. A belly that in this lifetime I have never had not had.
Right.
But I was clearly pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And the massage therapist was intrigued by this, because this is the first time that she had ever seen anything like this in her own practice.
Wow.
So out of the novelty, she was doing, she was keeping me there for a really, really long time, and trying to
investigate more. Uh-huh.
But what came to me was an immense feeling. I was downloaded with extreme depression that I had never felt before.
Wow.
And I came to realize that in that lifetime, I was probably 11 or 12 years old, and I had been impregnated by my biological father in that lifetime.
Oh my gosh.
Who was a head Viking.
Oh my gosh.
And he and his drunken
friends.
Yeah.
Cohorts.
Right. Put me on this ship, took me to the island.
And left you?
And left me. And
I have chills.
So, yeah. They must have thought that I was dead, because I emerged not really knowing where I was and feeling this depression. Now, I'm actually
Wow.
missing a really important part of this.
Okay.
2 or 3 months prior to this, I had in the left lower quadrant of my belly, like a little like rash looking thing. It was just a little bumpy, and it didn't hurt.
Right.
It didn't
like
itch.
a contact dermatitis kind of thing, just a little. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. But it was growing. So I went to a dermatologist, and we kept trying to figure it out and use creams, and nothing worked. And she finally said a couple of weeks before I had this session, she goes, look, I don't know what this is, but it's growing and I'm actually kind of concerned. Let's try this more intense cream. But I want you to come back in a few weeks. We're going to do a biopsy.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah.
I'm worried about this.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
That always makes you feel great.
Right. Excellent. So that had happened a few, had
prior
been going
to
on
this
prior to
session.
this, right? Not the reason I went in.
Right.
So here I am now in this deeply relaxed state, having very vivid
memories,
images, memories, not just in my mind. It started in my mind, but then it changed into, I felt it.
Sensations.
Completely.
Yeah.
Like I felt it. So here I am, I'm downloaded with depression. I can see that I'm alone and I'm in despair. I'm a little kid.
Wow.
And left alone with a child in my belly.
So what happened? Tell me.
So I look around and I see a sword. And I am going through this process of like, do I do this? Do I not do this? Or any of that. Anyway, I pick up the sword and I put it in my belly.
Where the contact dermatitis is.
Exactly where that was.
Unbelievable.
But so I didn't even make that connection.
Right.
I don't know at the time. So it was to either kill myself or the baby or both. I don't know. But because this massage therapist didn't really understand what was going on, and she saw that, and she tried to take me through it, she didn't do a good job. I was there for over 3 hours.
Right.
She finally emerged me. When I came out, I was fascinated by what had happened.
Right.
It was clear I knew what had happened.
Right.
And then it hit me. Oh my gosh. The place
all
where the
connected.
sword went in was in that exact
spot.
area where I
Yeah.
had that rash show up. So now I'm a little excited and encouraged by it, but yet I'm also simultaneously feeling this complete despair.
Yeah.
The therapist is excited. She's, yay, you've got to come back to me. I've never had this before. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And I still have a 45-minute drive home. So I remember calling my husband saying the most incredible thing happened. And, you know, I'm telling him where it
Everything.
went in, right? I get home and I kind of roll down my pants to show him where,
Don't
where
tell
it was.
me.
Well, it was smaller. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
It was smaller. And we're like, oh, that's very interesting.
Fascinating.
Right? We go to bed because it was late at night. We go to bed. I wake up in the morning and it is gone. And it has never come back.
You healed that trauma on so many levels.
Well, here's the thing. I healed a component of it. And the reason why I say this is so important and why I started sharing this story in terms of why you take this seriously.
Yeah.
Because it took me a good year to pull myself out of this despair and try to understand the emotional download that I had. The physical healing happened.
Immediately, yeah.
That was amazing. That was fantastic.
Right.
And
but you're still carrying the load.
No one prepared me or helped me for that download.
Oof.
And so I had to work, again, remember, I do this work. I'm trained in it. I'm a psychotherapist. I believe I know all the things.
Right.
And I still couldn't get myself through it. So the reason is because the massage therapist did not know what she was doing.
Right. She was trying to help you, but she wasn't trained like you are. So you need someone who's got all of the credentials that you have to help you through this process.
Yeah. And not use me as a novelty
Right.
to try and help her ability.
Right.
And what she ended up doing is keeping me there for way too long. So it
Yeah, you were
actually
too
gave me a
submerged.
trauma response.
Right.
Not help to heal me.
Right.
She should never have done that.
Right.
I did go back to her a couple of times just trying to figure it out. And unfortunately, and she was a lovely, lovely person, is a lovely person, but unethical.
Right.
And she harmed me
Right.
emotionally.
She added trauma.
She did. And then there were a couple of other sessions
Right.
that she did that, and more came out
Oh, no.
in a very negative way. And she didn't know how to heal it, and she didn't know how to
Right.
close it.
Right.
And so, I was very open with
Right.
her and just said, I really can't continue this
Right.
anymore.
Right.
And I would strongly recommend that if you ever do this again, that you go find some training.
Right. I was just going to say.
So that put me onto a path of figuring out, number one, why did that happen to me?
And how do you deal with it?
How do you deal with that?
Mm-hmm.
And learning more about, so that never happens to anyone
Right.
else. Now,
Right. For your patients or anything.
for my patients. So this is a good 20 something years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been probably in the past 5 years that people have become more open to this.
Right.
So here I am working in academia, and it's very interesting. Anytime that I would talk about, listen to this, meditation, I talk about meditation.
Right.
And my colleagues would come to me and say, you can't talk about that. That's not evidence-based stuff. That's woo-woo stuff.
Right.
We don't do
I
that.
get that all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
So publicly, in faculty meetings and meetings, they would make fun of that. And then individually,
They'd come to you and say it.
come to
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
Hey, I got this thing.
Right.
So I want to say also, back then, it wasn't like I could just kind of come out and
Right.
say that I was having all of this and talk
Right.
openly with colleagues. This was
It's
a very
different. Very
quiet,
different time.
private thing that
Yeah.
was going on. And so I suppressed it. And so there was this part of me
Mm-hmm.
that was going down this path of academic,
Mm-hmm.
Evidence-based,
Right.
doing the right psychotherapy thing.
Right.
And then also over here, I've got this personal thing going on
Right. That you're not addressing.
that I'm
you
not
can't- yeah.
addressing. And I quietly work with people over here, but I'm not advertising it.
Right.
This experience told me I've got to merge them.
Right.
And I have to teach other people how to do this effectively,
Right.
so that no one gets harmed
Right.
from this.
So do your patients come to you like with regression therapy? Does it help with not just trauma, but like all of the anxiety and the
yeah.
stress and all those things? So the regression therapy helps them go back to a time where they took on that stress and anxiety, so you can help them process the issue and move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the beautiful part
Uh-huh.
of this work. I have come to learn that the most important component of this is feeling safe in the body and
Mhm.
having a regulated nervous system.
Right.
Which is why that assessment is so important.
Critical. Yeah.
And what we do then is go back
Mm-hmm.
to the origins of wherever that anxiety
Or depression
Depression.
or trauma.
first showed up.
So why is it important for people to address all of these issues?
Well, because Bessel says the body keeps a score, and boy,
Yeah,
did my own
that's right.
personal experience
Yeah.
say that, right?
Yeah.
But it does. So there are these imprints that are left on us. And look, we don't have to go into past life regression
Right.
to even talk about that. We
We
now
just go back
know.
to childhood.
We could go back to anything that
Right.
left an intense impression
True.
on us
True.
that we were not able to integrate.
Mm-hmm.
So if something significant happens in our life that is traumatizing, difficult, or
Mhm.
overwhelming,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't have the ability or the opportunity to process that
We
and
won't
walk
heal.
through that, we won't heal.
Yeah.
It sticks.
Right.
And it just plays out over and over and over again and can grow and get worse.
Right. Until you handle the issue.
Until you
and
handle
heal
it.
yourself. Right. So when we talk about that and healing and the imprints of trauma, and maybe not just child in this lifetime, but maybe souls from past lives. When people, I mean, you see these people who are creative or they're talented and they're incredible at what they do, whether it's a musician or an artist, and you think, God, this is a skill that is just a gift, like where does this come from? But not just great things carry over from what you've learned in past lives or what your soul has learned in past life, but I feel like trauma carries over too. And like you said, you're still dealing with it until you learn how to heal it. So how does the soul come with past traumas, and is that trauma consistent? Because I know that, okay, so we're talking about science and woo-woo. Scientifically, they've proven that intergenerational trauma is carried on in a cellular level.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my question is, on the more woo-woo side, but I still believe it exists, that the soul carries that trauma or those imprints, negative or positive, from each lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you help someone address that so they can heal that and move forward?
I've got a lot to say about that.
Okay, lay it on me.
So let me start with, how do I help somebody address that?
Mm-hmm.
The answer is very simple.
Mm-hmm.
We just go with the feeling.
Right.
We just need to go with whatever feeling the person
And
is
validate
having.
that.
Absolutely. And allow first the body to feel comfortable and safe. That's why I use hypnosis, but many times I just use guided meditation or breathing, right?
I don't think a lot of people understand that controls your heart rate, that controls the way you think, that, like you said, it's all connected, the brain and the body. So if you can control the physical, I think that helps with the mental, and vice versa.
That's right.
Okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
that was my 2 cents.
No, you're absolutely right. Because what happens is that if I am in a stress response, then there's something called a window of tolerance. I pop out of my window of tolerance, and what happens is the prefrontal cortex shuts down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a whole neurobiological reason to what's happening, right? And in trauma work, the same thing. We don't do any interventions until we first teach a person how to feel safe in their body.
Right.
So stay within the window of tolerance, because we know that going back to previous times that were overwhelming, challenging, difficult, they're going to
bring up a lot.
They're going to bring up a lot. And we
So
don't
you have to be prepared for that.
Exactly, like my own experience.
Yeah.
But I want to circle back to what you were saying in terms of intergenerational, because I think that's also really important. And I that's one of the newer things that I think about and I get very excited about.
This is what I wrote my thesis on in my master's.
Oh, you're kidding. Intergenerational or epigenetics?
Intergenerational trauma.
Okay. So,
but at the time, nobody could prove that scientifically it was carried on a cellular level. I mean, this is 30 some odd years ago. But I was thinking it was more, it was really, go ahead. Sorry. We'll talk about that
So
after.
Rachel Yehuda did some really great research, I think seminal research, on epigenetics. And she was working with, for lack of a better word, offspring of survivors of the Holocaust. And she works with epigenetics, or she did. Now she's in psychedelics, but she did some great work with this, with epigenetics. And what we have found in this emerging research, because that's really what it is exactly what you just said, from the cellular level. So if I experience something that is very difficult, traumatic, overwhelming, I'm using those words on purpose.
Right.
And I'm not able to process it. Yeah, the body keeps the score.
Yeah.
What happens is there's a little tag that goes on to the gene. And if I procreate from this point on, and by the way,
your child carries that.
Your child carries that. And your child in the womb, right? So also, it's going to go to any child that they have.
Right.
So we think that this tag, which by the way, does not modify the genome at all.
Right.
It just pops onto it.
Mm-hmm.
And that means then that it doesn't necessarily express that gene.
Right.
But stress and stress hormones
Activates it.
could activate it.
Absolutely.
So whatever the person's perception is, whatever their environment is like.
And their interpretation of it too.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So, it's hard then to say, is it environment? Is it biological? We think for right now that it hangs on, the tag hangs on for about 3 generations.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So such cool stuff that I think we're starting to see some evidence to also that intergenerational piece, and why I am also fascinated with that.
Fascinated.
Yeah.
So so I have more questions about this, about the scientific method to sort of assess false psychic claims and like authentic ones. Like how does someone navigate that? Like,
so I'm going to interpret that question as, I've got someone, you mean from like with clients, or
well,
you
like
just
a
mean
scientific method, because there's some people who stand on the side of science and say, well, what you're dealing with isn't fact and I can't see it and prove it, so it doesn't really exist for me. But then you have a whole community that believes, no, but it does exist. We're experiencing it. We're feeling it. We know we're still healing from it. We're trying. So how does someone navigate that if they're looking to heal themselves because they feel either some traumatic event has made that sort of impact on them, whether it's childhood or a past life? But how do they navigate that realm of finding someone who can help them?
Okay. So first, finding someone that can help them, they need to be trained properly. Right. But I have so many clients that come in and say, how do I know I'm not making this up?
Oh.
How do I know that it's not just something that I saw on TV?
Right.
How do I know that, I'm not wanting to perform for you and I make something up, I saw that.
Right.
My answer to them would be exactly the same answer that I would say to a skeptic that's saying you can't, there is no evidence behind this. I'm okay that there's not, because we can use any of the pictures or the images or the feelings as metaphor.
Right.
We can, do a little Jungian kind of, look at archetypes and themes. I'm good.
Right.
If you say that you're seeing pink flying elephants, and now I've already assessed you that you're not right. So
you don't meet anything on the DSM-3.
Exactly.
You're fine. You're good to go.
Right. So, let's go with that.
It
could be metaphor because I'm less interested, believe it or not, as much of a researcher and academic as I am in this work, I am less interested in the actual proof than I am in the healing.
Right.
So I want to know what your feeling is. What
because that's valid.
That's valid.
Because it may not be something that you or I see, but if that person's experiencing it, it's their reality. That's where they're at.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's it. Same thing. Healing can happen in dreams.
Right.
I don't know the dreams you're traveling to an alternate dimension,
right,
I don't know, maybe,
or messages subconsciously from a previous life, or
sure,
exactly. It all exists.
But you know what? You woke up from that dream and you feel like
and
you
felt
learned
a certain
something,
way.
and you felt something, and there's magic and healing in that.
Yes.
That's what I say to people.
I love that.
Let's not worry about whether we can justify
or validate on a scientific
any
level.
of these. Until we have the ability to do that. What I'm looking at is, how are you feeling today?
Right.
How regulated are you feeling? Right. And can we use that as a story?
Right.
Can we use that as something if it doesn't feel, because I'm going to tell you, if you've had a regression yourself, I'm going to tell you, if you've had a regression and you've had that kind of experience, that was real. And it doesn't matter what skeptic, what person says, oh, that's not real.
So we can respect science, but sort of validate and believe in the things that science can't explain.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. So we talked about the scientific community and what they think.
They're a lot more open today, though.
I think so. I think it's
are.
evolving. I think we're just sort of on the cusp of that. And I think we have progressed enough in science where they can actually say, oh, yes, this is truth. And I think the world is opening up to understanding all of that.
That's why I got so excited about neuroscience.
Yeah.
And that's what, that whole process of that merging of the academic with the personal experience, which I've got a lot of other personal experiences with this, came together because I get so excited that we're starting to see evidence for some of this stuff that we weren't.
Right. That no one sort of believed in.
Soft science.
Right.
Stuff.
Yeah. Soft science. Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest myth about regression?
What is the biggest myth about regression? I think that, well, I'll tell you what I think a lot of people think. That we were someone famous in a past life, right?
I was Cleopatra.
Yeah. I have literally done hundreds, probably more, of regression, and I have yet to meet someone who was famous.
Historical.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, they were around people who were historical.
Right.
But
during those time periods, but not, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you think that the skills, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Do you think that the skills and the talents and things, not just the trauma, but like all of the things that they've learned in past lives get carried forward too?
I think it can. I've seen that.
Right.
I do have some thoughts on how it, there might be some other things at play there. But in terms of that, I absolutely have seen that.
You have?
Yeah. I've seen, and there's this one in particular, I can't really talk about individual people, but I'll see if I can explain this without giving identifying information.
Okay.
But this gentleman went back into a past life in the 1800s in France.
Wow.
And he was a concert pianist, and he, composed a lot. He would perform for people, and he was really, really good. And in this life, that helped him to understand when he was really young, like when he was a couple of years old and he had not had any training. He went and sat down at a piano and just started to play.
That's all the evidence I need.
Yeah. He told me that later.
No, but I believe that. I absolutely believe that, because you have these prodigies that come with the experience and knowledge that, how could that be?
Yeah.
I can't explain it.
No, you can't. And I've often, I'll see someone on the news, a young prodigy or something, and I'll be like, I bet.
I bet. I bet that came from a couple lifetimes ago.
Yeah, exactly.
So how can people use regression, not just for healing, but for educational and informational purposes?
Interesting. Well, I think it depends on what you mean by educational and informational purposes, right? So they can go back and rediscover information that they learned then and bring that forward.
Right.
And I've had that. I've had a couple of clients actually do that and recall that information and bring that forward. But I'm really focused on the healing, on helping them to go back and look at the emotions of that.
Right. So you walked us through the process of that. Is it something that's like an acute situation? Doesn't have to be long-term therapy, but once we've dealt with the issues that, once they've regressed and dealt with the issues, whatever trauma or whatever thing they felt has happened to them, and the healing goes, is it individually based, the timeline? I was just going to say, so there isn't like a ballpark timeline. It depends on each individual person.
It does. And I tell people that call me, I'm like, if anybody says that to you, run the other way.
Right.
It really depends. But
on the individual.
I have seen it in one session.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
Often.
Wow. How wonderful.
Yeah. And it's usually around things like panic attacks or
anxiety, stress.
Yes.
Why do you hesitate on stress?
Because stress seems to be ongoing and
Right, true.
and complicated
Right,
in
right,
various
right.
parts. Usually it's a specific phobia,
Mm-hmm.
or, or they're having something really significant and
Impactful.
impactful.
Mm-hmm.
Not that stress isn't.
Right, right. No,
Right.
but I see what you're saying. Stress is ongoing. Every day there's little
Yeah.
stressors and big stressors, but some impactful imprint is what you're referring to.
Yeah. And then they go back to the origins of it. And that's the key that I want to say. And if anybody's listening to this and wanting to go into and do a past life regression, it is really important for healing that if you go back to a time where this originated, where the pain, the anxiety, usually happens around the death scene.
Yeah.
It is really important to go through the death scene and have the therapist heal it.
Mm-hmm.
That is what happens.
Critical.
It's very critical.
Mm-hmm.
And why? Because here we are, you're in a relaxed body state.
Right.
You're feeling safe.
You're open.
Comfortable. Right. So we can integrate that.
Mm-hmm.
There's distance in that. So you go back into that past life.
Mm-hmm.
Experience it. You can watch it like you're watching a movie.
Like a movie, yeah.
And work through that and heal that.
And process all of that.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
So you come back and you're not dealing with that anymore. Now,
right.
it's not magic. You
right.
Remember it.
It's work.
It is work.
It's work.
It is.
Are you exhausted after sessions?
I'm usually invigorated.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. I would think that it would be exhausting work.
I love this work.
That's great. That's
really,
so fabulous.
Really, really do. And it's fun for me because I feel like I've got like a front row seat to history.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Okay, so let's talk about the future. What about progression therapy?
So, and Brian Weiss talks about this. I don't know if he had an entire book on it where you can go into the future. I have progressed a handful of people into the future. Here's why, just personally, I'm not a fan of it. Because, how do I say this? It's a sort of thing that I look at like, based on how everything is right now in my life today, in this timeline, this
and the information
is the
I have
potential
right now.
Exactly that might happen.
Right.
But I might leave the office and take a left instead of a right, and already that's
opened my world to something different. Yeah.
So what happens is that a lot of people then, just like, they're like, oh, well, this is going to happen. Either it's not a good thing or it is a good thing, and hold on to that rather than really looking at the flexibility of it.
Right.
Now,
and staying present.
And staying present. Yeah. And if they go into it with the mindset that I'm just curious.
Right.
And so I love the opening that you have of this podcast where you talk about
kindness and curiosity. Yeah.
That's what this is all about. Let's go into this with just a curiosity.
Yeah.
Not worrying about whether we're going to prove this to be true or not.
No.
Just let's be a little curious and let's go into that. If you can go into it with a curiosity, if there's something to learn from it and you're okay with doing that,
then that's a benefit. Great.
I'll progress.
Right. Okay, good. So with all of your research and everything, what is the future of regression therapy? Is there anything new on the horizon?
I think we're going to start to see I don't know that there's anything new on the horizon. What I can say is there are a lot more researchers that are looking at this and validating it, especially as we talk about
Thank God.
Neuroscience. Exactly. And especially around the importance of, because there are some people that come out and say hypnosis is not a real thing. And, memories, you can make them up and they're not active. They're not accurate. And that's true.
Right.
Which is why we go with the feeling.
Right. But if you're feeling something, that's an experience that you're having personally. So it's happening to you. It's real for you.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
So the more that we understand about the importance of regulating your body, getting your body into feeling safe.
Right.
Then the more we can understand.
And heal.
And heal.
Right. So we talk about life as measured in lessons learned. What's the most important takeaway on regression therapy and how it can be beneficial to us?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. The most important takeaway of how this could be beneficial for us is that if we can learn how to safely go back into uncomfortable feelings, whether it happened in this lifetime or previous lifetimes,
Mm-hmm.
and be able to walk through images that may seem disturbing, but still allow ourselves to walk through them, complete them, and do it in a different way,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have to hold on to the pain in this life.
Right. There will be healing.
There will be healing.
Yeah.
There will be
Beautifully
healing.
said. I like that.
Thank you.
And like that is safe, I think is also a key word to take out of there.
It is key.
Safely. That's in key. Oh my gosh, this was incredible. Thank you so
You're
much. I was so
welcome.
honored to have you here. This is so wonderful. I hope you enjoyed it too.
I did.
Okay,
Thank you.
before I let you go, I do something with all my guests. It's called Quickie Questions. Are you game?
Okay. I
Okay.
hope so.
What's your most treasured possession?
Well, it's not a possession, but my family.
Yeah, that's it. That's a good one. What is home to you?
My family.
Your family. I like that. Okay, who or what inspires you? Your
My
family.
gosh. My husband.
Oh, that's so lovely. I like that.
My husband.
Oh, thank you, husband.
He's been through terminal cancer. He's had a rupture. I know we're ending right now, but there's a really cool regression story with that. He's had aneurysms, rupture, and he's an incredible survivor. He's stronger than anybody I know. and
Amazing.
He's my hero.
Oh, I like that. That's beautiful. Oh, wow. That's powerful. Okay, last thing. I have goosebumps about that. We'll talk about that after. What do you want to be remembered for?
Oh, it makes me a little emotional.
Oh,
That I helped people to feel safe and connected and included.
oh, I like that. That's beautiful. I feel like you
Yeah.
already have. So that's a good thing.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being here today.
pleasure.
Stay for a minute. I'm going to do my outro and then we can talk afterwards. To our listeners, thank you so much. So grateful you're here. Keep listening, keep learning, keep laughing, keep up with Beek on Being. Listen to Beek on Being wherever you get your podcast. All episodes are automatically transcribed. DM us to share thoughts, ideas, or nominate a guest. A big shout out and a huge thank you to Stephen Chen at Penthouse Studios. Woohoo! Beek on Being was recorded at Penthouse Studios and is a proud member of the Penthouse Podcast Network. Oh my God, this was amazing.
Oh, it's great.
How do you feel?
I feel fine.
You feel good?
I think I have so many stories to tell.
I love that. We
Yeah.
have to come back and tell more stories.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so honored that you're here. Thank
you.
you. Oh, I
Thanks.
hope you enjoyed it. I know sometimes coming into this environment can be a little stressy.
Yeah, it took me a minute to really warm up, but then I did. No, you guys made it super simple. It's nice and cozy in here.
Yeah, it's
and you're
fun.
Great to have
Yeah.
a conversation with.
Yeah. So that's what I said. I like to make it conversational, like just information, learning, growing, all of it. That's the purpose of it. So,
Well, thank you. I appreciate
oh my
you doing
God.
that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yay. So now you have to have some cookies.